Marjorie Taylor Greene, who is a big ally of yours, said that she would rather see you focused on nonstop domestic policy meetings here at the White House instead of nonstop foreign policy meetings. What's your response to her saying that, and also saying that grocery prices are up and not down, as you said?
Yeah, so I don't know what happened to Marjorie. She's a nice woman, but I don't know what happened. She's lost her way, I think. But I have to view the presidency as a worldwide situation, not locally. I mean, we could have a world that's on fire where wars come to our shores very easily if you had a bad president. We had a horrible president.
So that's a little bit spicy. Marjorie Greene has lost her way. She was a nice woman, I guess, but she lost her way. Marge is not going to like that. But actually, and we're going to get to her response, he wasn't done with just that. Let's jump to a little bit more of what he had to say.
So when somebody makes a statement about he's devoting time to the world, well, the world is the United States. It's easy to say, oh, don't worry about the world, but the world is turning out to be our biggest customer. The world was on fire, and we could have been in that fire very easily if you didn't have a president that knew what he was doing. But with all of that, I passed a great, big, beautiful bill, which is the biggest tax cuts in the history of our country. So when somebody like Marjorie Taylor Greene, who's now catering to the other side, I don't know what, I guess she's, got some kind of an act going, but I'm surprised at her. But when somebody like Marjorie goes over and starts making statements like that, it shows she doesn't know.
So she doesn't know, she's catering to the other side. She's got some kind of an act going. And let me just jump in to say, he's not wrong with that necessarily. I'm actually in kind of both, I'm on both of their sides in this, I suppose. But he had a lot of negative words to say about her, which seems kind of unfair to Marjorie Greene, considering that while she has been feuding with like Mike Johnson and the Republican Party, she's tried to really avoid fighting directly with Donald Trump. I've been critical of the fact that she refuses to actually criticize him, and she's just dabbled around the edges a little bit with it. And that, of course, was what Kaitlan Collins led with. The criticism of the fact that grocery prices are going up, which they are. She's just right about that. And she didn't say you shouldn't care about the world. She said he's doing nonstop foreign policy, and she's kind of right about that. And it is not like he's doing a good job of even pretending to balance it. He does all these foreign trips. He's constantly meeting with foreign leaders. And then when asked about like our economic problems, he says, no, prices are down. Whatever, it's not a big factor, I don't care. Like, I think that she makes a good point that he is not reassuring people that he has their domestic interests at heart. And then if you're gonna defend yourself as like, I need to stop these fires from reaching our shores, well, Ukraine and Russia are still fighting. Gaza is still facing a genocide. We had a new war with Iran. We're about to go to war with Venezuela. It doesn't seem as if you're bringing us peace. You're only escalating these wars in basically every corner of the world. Not to mention your economic brinksmanship with Europe, with Canada, with Mexico, with China. Economically and militarily, it's all chaos around the world. And that's the product of you focusing so much outside of our borders. It's all BS. But that said, he fired back at her, so it's only fair that she get to respond to that. So she responded in a statement to Kaitlan Collins saying, I haven't lost my way. I'm 100% America first and only. So that's not much, considering he punched her like 6 times right there. This, I feel like, is again her trying to be very diplomatic and to lower the temperature between her specifically and Donald Trump, which I'm disappointed with. I think that if you actually want to present yourself as some sort of independent, a rebel against your party, you gotta go against Donald Trump, especially when he's hitting you that hard and being so disingenuous about it. But let's get to just a little bit more of her recently on CNN and see if we can ramp things up again. Let's see.
Is there anything though you'd critique or do differently?
My critique is not being focused on America first, but I largely blame that on our Congress because I serve in the House. I also blame that on who's advising him in the White House. Keeping him on nonstop tours around the world and nonstop meetings with foreign countries' leaders is not America first. It's just not. I think domestic policy should be the most important issue that the president and the Republican-controlled House and Senate are working on, and that showed up in the election on Tuesday.
But as the president, does he get some responsibility for that?
Well, of course. I mean, every president is responsible for the way that they lead, but they're also in a silo of information. And I think that's why after the election on Tuesday, you saw President Trump come out and react differently, probably because they couldn't keep him siloed. And here's the polls, sir, and this is what people are saying. I think he saw for himself, and he's reacted.
Yeah, but that's pathetic. He just did an interview with Laura Ingraham saying the polls are fake. He says the election wasn't real, the polls are fake, inflation is going down, prices aren't going up. What are you talking about, Marge, that he's changed course? He's still telling all of the same lies. He's calling you a liar. You are rightly pointing out that prices are going up. You're rightly pointing out that he's not focusing on the struggles people are facing, but he hasn't changed on that. He's doubled down on it. And he punched you in the face, and you're still retreating to, well, he's in a silo of information. How can we possibly hold the president responsible for his actions? It's probably someone else. It's just, that's why she never criticized Joe Biden or Barack Obama. Just the aides, they can't be held responsible. So look, she's backing off, which I think is unfortunate and pathetic. We'll see if Donald Trump decides to hit her once again, but if not, it's probably gonna fall to Kaitlan Collins. You need to dig at them a little bit. Dig at Donald Trump again. Point out what she just said there. See if you can put some fuel on this fire. But Jackson, what do you think about this disagreement here?
Well, I think that it's pretty clear that Marjorie sees that Trump is weak and that he's not going to finish his term in a strong position. But perhaps he isn't quite low enough for her to just be fully on the other side of the fence. At the end of the day, so much of her identity, not just her political identity, but her personal identity is wrapped up in Donald Trump. So this is a big deal for her. It's not just, oh, I got to switch allegiances because it's better for my career because I'm standing on some type of principle. Marjorie Taylor this is a very difficult process for someone like her. I don't really know if Donald Trump, he lashed out a little bit because he was asked a question about her, but I don't know if he'll just, decide to, gang up on her online or anything because he still can get support from her. So, I think it is pretty pathetic, but Marjorie she's pretty nuts. So, there's only so much agreeing with her that we're gonna do at the end of the day before she's right back to the same old, same old.
Yeah, we'll see. And we're still very much in the phase of she's saying some good things, but that's not the same as doing some good things. Though, I think signs point to the feud intensifying, partly because she's gonna vote on the discharge petition and he's not gonna like that. And the reason she's distancing herself from him is because she perceives that he and his movement are gonna become less popular and eventually he's gonna go away. He is gonna become less popular. So that incentive is only gonna be stronger next year and the year after. So I expect more friction between them, but we'll see. If you enjoyed that, then make sure that you never miss another video by subscribing. And if you want a little more, consider hitting the join button and becoming a member. So you're probably wondering, why would I do that? Well, when you do that, you get access to bonus content that I make every single week, and it's a lot of fun. You get custom emojis and more. If you join at tier 3, by the way, you even get access to a monthly member hangout with myself. And you'll get all that going forward, but you'll also unlock years of the back catalog that is literally 100 or more bonus clips and top 10 lists and debates and more. So what are you waiting for?